holiday season is in full swing, so you might already be planning your Christmas vacation, which could include visiting aging loved ones. For this week's Purposeful Living segment, I'm joined by the segment's creator, Phil Pullman, and our sponsor, Roxanne Sorensen of Elder Care Solutions, with signs of what to look for to make sure the people that you care about are taken care of. Welcome, you two. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Of course. So we're talking about visiting our loved ones from the holidays. I can say that for myself. I just was in Florida visiting my grandma on my dad's side. I got to see my great-grandmother who's 94. And this, for a lot of people, is kind of when you check in on those loved ones.
Agreed.
So let's talk about some physical signs that people might notice that something could be wrong.
I would look around the surrounding areas. So as the mail, the first sign, the easiest sign to see is the mail piling up. That's something that people leave on their mantle, or they might leave it on their end table. So if this starts to get really tall, then something's happening. It means the bills aren't being paid. They're not paying attention to it. It's still in the mailbox. Maybe the newspaper's sitting outside and there's 20 of them on the front stoop. And I know newspapers are kind of on the out, but still older generations still get the newspaper. You're also looking at, you know, how's their clothing looking? Is it soiled? Is it stained in any way? Is there a pungent odor in the house? It could be from rotting food. It could be from body odor. Maybe they haven't had a shower in a while. So all of those are different signs of something's going on.
But, you know, there are some things that we can't necessarily see, which are those cognitive changes. What are some of those signs?
Increased behaviors. All of a sudden, mom is maybe more agitated, or maybe she might swear, where maybe she never swore before. You know, some of them can be like a verbiage of a truck driver, like they never had those words ever in their life. It could be simply more confusion, like they might have had slight confusion and all of a sudden they're very confused. And that could just be something simply an infection is brewing, a urinary tract infection, upper respiratory, today's day, now flu, COVID. All of those can change somebody so quickly. So those simple little signs of cognitive declines are really impactful.
Yeah. A big thing that we worry about, and we've talked about in the past, is the worry about our loved ones falling. So are there any signs that someone's mobility or balance is declining?
Well, if you think about it, when someone's walking, right, you usually go in a straight line. If they're wobbly,
Yeah.
then there's something going on. Maybe they had fallen and they've hurt their hip, but they don't want to tell you. They could have broken their hip and still be walking around on a broken bone.
Yeah.
It could be such a small enough fracture, it may not impact every part of their day, but their mobility may change, or they're having trouble getting up and down out of a chair. Before it was like, ooh, they bounced right up. Well, now it's getting a little harder to get up and down, you know, or maybe there's signs that something was missing. Maybe this cup broke that used to be on that nightstand, or now it's all of a sudden gone. Like, where did it go?
Right.
So there's different ways of looking for those little changes.
And when it comes to mobility and balance, why is that dangerous?
Well, one hip fracture can lead to being in a nursing home the rest of your life.
Right.
You know, and a lot of times an older adult will not say I've been injured because they fear if they go to the hospital, they're never coming home. So they'd rather be in excruciating pain than ever say that they've been injured because they may not come back.
Right.
You know, when we say loved ones, you know, we're just not talking about, you know, your children or your family, because as we start to get older, you know, our circle starts to get a little smaller. So we're talking more like your friends, neighbors, you know, a doctor.
Meals on Wheels person who may stop in.
You know, we're talking, you know, and I think a lot of times people notice changes, but they don't know what to do. They just don't know what to do or what to say. You know, can you give us some advice about that?
So when family, this is my biggest time, my busiest time of year between Thanksgiving and Christmas when people are visiting, because I can fake anything on the phone, right? I'm great, it sounds wonderful, yep, and I can do very simple answers. So maybe my children who might be in California may be, oh, mom's great. But when I'm physically present, like you just saw with your grandma and your great-grandmother, you're going to notice some changes.
Right.
So that's when we get the phone call saying, oh my God, what do? I need to go back back to Buffalo and I only have tomorrow. What can you do for me? So they'll call us in that crisis and we'll go out and we'll do a comprehensive assessment. It may just be simply making some few adaptations to the home, maybe some better lighting, get rid of the area rugs. We've talked about that before. They're one of the biggest trip hazards. The little throw rugs in the bathroom, those are the most dangerous. So some of those simple suggestions can change things for the better. If they're cognitively declining, let's call the doctor. Maybe they do have just an infection that can cure or maybe fix. And I shouldn't say cure because they might already have some cognitive loss, may decrease those enhanced symptoms of cognitive impairment. So if someone's really off, there's something wrong. Don't just ignore and say, I don't have the time. You're going to have to make the time. You might have to stay an extra day or two. Or if the professionals do need to come in, is there someone else, because you have to get on that plane or the train, who else can come by? Your neighbor, that family friend, who can sit there during that assessment? Because you don't want to just ignore it. It's only going to get worse.
Absolutely.
So what other services do you offer? You know, like I know that you go in, you know, you assess, you know, is there a referral program? I mean,
So we're information referral. So we'll bring in those outside providers, that home care service, that meal program, transportation. There are a vast array of services nowadays that can be brought right into the home. It might simply just be putting a Lifeline device, which is that button that you press in the event of emergency. Sometimes it's as simple as having that device in place that can make all the difference. Or maybe even an Alexa. Like, hey, Alexa, I need to take my pills. What time? And those are things that you can now pre-program for those simple reminders. And sometimes medication management is all that person might need. So we'll help bring those services into place. Now, if it is a dangerous situation, we're going to help bring that person if they have to go to the hospital. We'll help get that person to that hospital. We'll help manage and bring them to that rehab and then manage to bring them home. It doesn't mean that's the end result.
Yeah.
There are vast ways of doing a full circle.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be afraid.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing more
Thanks.
about this, things to look out for and solutions as well. Viewers, if you notice any signs of decline or neglect in your aging loved ones when you visit them this holiday season, you can connect with our sponsors at Elder Care Solutions by visiting their website, eldercarewny.com. Thanks again for coming in, you two.
Thank you.
Thanks.